What would Earth look like if there were twice as many people as there are right now? If there was a second person for every human on Earth, there would now be around 16 billion people to share the planet. First of all, we have to decide if this jump in population happens suddenly, like overnight, or gradually. That would, of course, make a big difference. The scenario in which the world's population slowly but surely reaches this level would be somewhat boring. It gets much more interesting when there wouldn't be any time to adapt to this massive growth in population. We therefore opt for the variant in which each person one day just wakes up with an identical twin of themselves. That means no extra houses, no extra food, no extra space, just twice as many people in the same world. Well, some places would feel the change more than others. The vast emptiness of Alaska would still be pretty empty. It gets interesting when we look towards global metropolises and huge cities with millions of inhabitants, such as Tokyo, Mumbai, or even New York. Absolute chaos would reign there. Seats on the subway or parking spaces in front of the supermarket would probably be out of the question, and the journey to work in the morning would be a horror trip. But as bad as this might sound, the real problem wouldn't be space. It would be resources. Take food, for example. It might sound hard to believe, but right now the world produces enough calories to feed everyone. Yet hunger remains widespread due to issues of distribution, waste, and inequality. If our population doubled overnight, food production wouldn't immediately increase to match, and shortages would begin almost instantly. Wealthy nations might see prices surge, making food unaffordable for many. Poorer regions where food insecurity is already an issue could face widespread famine. And even if we ramped up production, farming requires land, water, and fertilizer, all of which have their limits. We could push those limits with technology, but not quickly enough to stop a crisis. Water is an even bigger concern. Much of the world already struggles with water scarcity, relying on underground aquifers that take centuries to refill. With double the population, those aquifers would be depleted much faster, drying up wells and crippling agriculture. Desalination, which is the process of turning seawater into fresh water, is an option, but it's expensive, energy-intensive, and not accessible to everyone. Without drastic conservation efforts, many regions would simply run out of usable water. And then there's energy. The global demand for electricity and fuel would double. Power grids, already strained in many places, would face blackouts. Factories, cars, and power plants would burn through fossil fuels at twice the speed, accelerating climate change. We could try to meet demand with renewable energy, but building the necessary infrastructure, solar farms, wind turbines, advanced grids, takes decades. In the short term, we'd likely turn to whatever energy sources we could find, leading to even more pollution and environmental damage. But everyone working together to find a solution is wishful thinking. There have been enough crises of this kind in the history of mankind to know that. As resources became scarcer, tensions between nations would rise. Countries might begin hoarding food and water, leading to trade wars or even actual wars. Mass migrations would increase as people fled unlivable conditions, straining the stability of governments. But even if it all sounds quite dramatic, sooner or later mankind would adapt and overcome the challenge. It wouldn't be an easy time, many would probably lose their lives, but it wouldn't wipe us out either. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more, and I'd also appreciate your feedback in the comments. Hope to see you around!